What's going on, winners? It's your boy Loso 2.0, and today we're going to talk about the most influential speaker so far, influential black leader so far. Now, before we get started with that, click that subscribe button below and subscribe to the Winners Win channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review below. So, the most influential black leader. I'm going to give you a chance to take a guess at who you believe that black leader is. Just take a guess. I mean, there's so many of them. There were so many black leaders, especially starting back then, but then going more into now, there has been just pretty much like a growth of black leaders. But if you ever heard the I Had a Dream speech, then you know exactly who I'm talking about as the most influential black leader ever. I'm talking the man who walked so leaders like me can run. The man who put it all on the line to allow his people, to allow us to thrive in a society that didn't want us to thrive. The man whose name was changed from Michael. And I'm talking about myself. Because as you guys know, prior to me being named Carlos, when I was born, my mother named me after her current boyfriend. And my name was Michael James Cole Jr. Then by the age of about 7 years old, my name was changed to Carlos Henry. Carlos James Henry, kept the middle name because it's the name of my grandfather or uncle. But yeah, I'm not talking about that man. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the other man whose name was changed from Michael. And it's funny because I actually learned that his name was changed through watching this Disney Plus. They have a Disney Plus special when it's showing the lives of two influential black leaders who came up from the same time with different ideologies, but the same mission. The different ways they went about it, but the same mission. And when I was on there, he was talking about how his father traveled to this famous, or not even this famous place, but went to a place, and during that place, he just loved it so much that he came back and decided he wants to change his name. And then upon changing his own name, he looked at his son and said, your name is also going to be changed from here on out. And your name is going to be Martin Luther King Jr. And then the dad changed his name to Martin Luther King Sr. So that's the man I'm talking about. Martin Luther King Jr., the most influential African-American individual that this nation has ever seen so far. And as we know what he's known for. Again, a lot of times people say that I have a dream speech, but it goes so much deeper than this, than the surface when it comes to this. He's actually known for his contributions to the American Civil Rights Movement. Now, if you don't know what the American Civil Rights Movement is, I'm going to explain it a little bit. The American Civil Rights Movement was a movement, a peaceful movement to allow the stop of racial segregation and discrimination. As you know, black people were going through so much segregation. We were segregated in schools. We were segregated at parks, benches, water fountains, bathrooms. There were so many things that kept us separate, but not even on top of just keeping us separate. There were so many things that they discriminated against us with. It's almost as if they looked at me as if we were just dirt, if we were just dirty, a germ or something, as if we did not deserve to live like the next person. We were looked at as this. Because first, we started off as slaves, as you guys know. Well, to be honest, we're God's people, but we became slaves too in America. We were enslaved in Africa. We were enslaved all over the place, but we were enslaved, and upon us being free from slavery did not stop the way that they looked at us, did not stop the way that they treated us It just made the ways you had to do it a little bit more under the rug. Now, before I continue with this podcast, if you were looking to join a community where you can learn leadership skills, such as the training on right now on just finding your niche of who you can lead, and also being able to network with other individuals to grow your business, to grow your network, text me at 302-220-0886, and then you could join the winner circle with the special right now for the first 10 people, $10 a month. But anyway, though, like I said, we were treated like vermin, right? We all know how important this movement was for us, for our people. It opened up opportunities for us that we did not have before. Right now, I can get certain types of jobs because I was discriminated against before. But I mean, we're still discriminated at the workplace, but it's not as much as the open. There's so many laws now that kind of help with that, but we're still discriminated against. It's still harder for us to get in certain rooms without us putting in certain work. There's still some things that we have to work towards, but it's still some discrimination now. There's still some resources that we lack, and that's the reason that I even started the Winner Circle. There's some things that we have going on, but it did open up more opportunities for us now. Because now I can go and use the same water fountain, even though that's not that important. Now I can go to the same park. Now I can have friends who are Caucasian. I have a couple of friends that are Caucasian. I'm allowed to, talk to people, meet people. Some people have interracial relationships, different things that people do. That's everybody moves to the beat their own drum, but there's certain opportunities that we did not have before that we do have now. And King participated in these protests in the South. That's where he's from Atlanta, Georgia. But do you know how bad the South was compared to the North? The South, even during slavery times, was the only ones that they didn't have free states. That's why Harriet Tubman had to use the Underground Railroad in order to get to the North, because there were free states up here. But down south, there was states that weren't free. So they were racist from the get-go, right? Even now, if you go down south, yes, there's a lot more African-American, a lot of African-American culture down there. I went to Houston, I seen it, right? I love the Louisiana culture. It's so many of us, kind of bunched up, but there still is a lot of racism that lives there today. I went to Augusta, Georgia. People still got Confederate flags. They say it's part of their culture. Hey, listen, it may be, but there's a lot of things going down south, right? And just for you guys not to forget this, right? Think about how old your grandparents are. These protests were only 70 to 80 years ago. These are our grandparents' times. Grandparents getting born. Some of us may be great-grandparents if we, were born, our mothers had us at a young age, but grandparents, that's not that far away. That's only 2 generations. Like our parents and the generation before that. That's more recent than you think. And we all know how long it takes for things to reform, for things to change. 70, 80 years is definitely not a long time for things like that to change. And King did all this without fighting people, without the use of guns, without the use of any type of violence. He did this all through peaceful protests. He would do sit-ins where they would literally go to a restaurant that was white, all white, and no black people could be there. They would sit down, ask to order food, and they would sit there and take being spit on, being food thrown at them, people calling them all type of racial slurs, doing all this stuff and having the emotional fortitude in order to sit there and just take it without any type of violence back to it. And like I said, we couldn't even drink from the same water fountains before, but now he was able to bring us all together as a community to show that we can make a difference if we decide to. Now it's your turn to leave your stamp on history, the same stamp, in the same way that Martin Luther King left his. Now, that's really all I have for you guys today. Man, If you're watching this again on YouTube, click the subscribe button below, subscribe to the Winners Win channel. If you're listening to this on any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review. And again, if you want to join the Winner's Circle, text me at 302-220-0886, and I'll gladly let you in. I want you guys to keep killing the day. Remember, winners win, losers lose, and you pray for success like this. 2.0.